You know, sometimes when you have a need to create or give gifts to your friends, but you can do something as simple as this, I'm going to be showing you how to sketch this. I'll leave the link to the photograph in the description below so that you can also try your hand on this sketch. This sketch is just a very small A5 sketch. It's in fact, when you frame it, it is relatively small. You can get a frame from Ikea and you look very, very nice. I'm drawing with my favorite Sailor Field nib. It's a banded nib pen. I will be doing a video on the pen at some point because there's a lot of questions around the pen I used. But anyway, let's get back to this sketch. What I want to say is that you don't really have to be super accurate with your sketch. Roughly the proportion, it is recognizable to be a wine bottle and a couple of glasses, and you know, it's good enough. After all, the lines exist so that you can splatter color on it. Well, at least that's what I think. Life shouldn't be this complicated. You know, if you are a detailed person, you might get bogged down with all the tiny bits of details and lines and whatnot. But look, just look at it roughly, and as long as a ratio and somewhat of a believable shape, you're done with your drawing, well, more or less. So don't fret too much. Okay, so I'm almost done with the drawing, and I've even put in some of the lines for the shadow, as you can see. And yep, let's get ready for our painting session. I've decided on a very simple complementary color scheme. In this case, it's gonna be yellow, purple, complementary color scheme. I also intend to follow my own tips on sketching loosely. You know, if you have been following my other videos, I talk about sketching not up to the line and over the lines, and you know, having very watch the boundaries and also soft edges and so on and so forth. You can go watch this playlist right here. Anyway, getting back to the sketch, you see that I use a bunch of yellows and orange. They are lemon yellow, they are new gamboshed, they are a little bit of cadmium orange and a little bit of cadmium yellow. Those are the 4 yellow orange that I used to create this combination of colors. I wet down some parts of the background because I intend to have an explosion of yellow at the back, washed away with soft diffuse edges, with lots of water, thrown in different hues of yellow for variety's sake. Well, honestly, there's no plan other than trying to drip some and splatter and all the other tips I've already given you, and lots of water as well. You know, once you have water flowing, it's magical, because that's the whole reason why you use watercolor, isn't it? I mean, you want watercolor to flow and the pigment to mix naturally without much you know, complication. It's gonna do whatever it's gonna do because it's water, right? It's watercolor. It's not just color, it's watercolor after all. We must allow water to do its job. Of course, when there's too much moisture, you can always pick up some excess, so that for 2 reasons. One, it's easier to dry. The other one is that you don't want it to be out of control when you kind of tilt your you know, sketch pad this way or that way. Alright, so now this is where the complementary color is going to come in. I have mixed a potent French ultramarine with permanent alizarin crimson. That's the darkest dark I have on my palette, and it's one of those colors that I go to when I want super dark. I just put a patch of it on the top, and then I'm using water to dilute down. As you can see, there's already a bit of yellow on the wine bottle. I'm just letting it mixed on paper, if you like, but the first layer is more or less dry. As you can see, the complementary color just worked perfectly. I mean, you know, you can't really beat this purple yellow combination, really. It's just such an amazing complementary. I use it almost without even thinking about it these days. It's just my favorite go-to. When I don't really have a plan, that's my plan. The other thing to note is that I'm also always thinking in value as in 0 1 to 5, 1 being paper white, 5 being the darkest I could make with my pigments. And so the top part of the wine bottle is 5, 4, 5 roughly, and the rest of it is a gradient of 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm just copying what I see from the photograph. There's no magic in that sense. Where you see a bit of shade, just put down a slight diluted version of the purple, and there you have it, some shades just to create a bit of a form as in three-dimensional sense of the bottle. Again, there's nothing magical about reading value and putting down value and, you know, copying what you see. I'm being a bit tight here, so not as loose as I would like, but anyway, sometimes you don't really want, you know, looseness to completely overtake and make a mess of everything. There must be some controlled measure, I suppose. You know, you can't always let looseness get out of hand. So lo and behold, slowly one shape at a time, and again, I'm not trying to make every shape the same value across the board. There's always a little bit of variety within the shape itself. That is just, you know, a little bit of interest if you like. And sometimes I put 2 layers, as you can see, yellow, and then on top of that a bit of the purple, and that will just give your eyes reading of the reflection of the wine. If you like, it's illusion, but of course that's what it is. All paintings are illusions and believable images. Remember, it's called readability, right? Once your sketch and painting is readable, it's good enough. After all, if you're gonna make many of these to give to friends, to family, you do want to make sure that you are not too fussed and spending way too much time, and you know. But anyway, if you spend too much time, it can also create the other problem, which is it becomes very overwork, if you like. I guess you know what I'm trying to say. An overworked piece of work has a certain, boringness to it. Okay, now we are at the stage of looking at shadows, and as you know, shadows creates form, and form creates three-dimensional sense on a two-dimensional piece of paper. So putting a little bit of dark here and there with some, you know, suggestions of a shadow and so on creates that sort of illusion. And I think that's really, you know, all you want to do, slight capture of the shadow. One more thing, don't overdo the shadows, don't make it too dark, and you should be fine. I guess when it dry, you might realize that you didn't go dark enough, but it's okay. Then you can go one more layer over it, and then, you know, a couple of layers of shadow will make it more or less there. If you go too dark, then you have a problem because you can't quite lift off as easily. Though you sometimes can, but it's not as easy as putting more layers on it. So we're almost done. A bit of splattering just to make it feel loose, and I think that's it. That's the final sketch. I went to Ikea, bought a nice frame, and framed it up and gave it to a friend for his birthday. That's it. So this is Whee Teck. Stay safe wherever you are. Out.